I've always featured a lot of guitar players on this channel. It's one of my greatest pleasures. From Steely Dan, we have featured Larry Carlton, Dean Parks, and Jay Graydon. Today, it's Skunk Baxter, who, along with Denny Diaz, was the original guitar player in the original Steely Dan band. There's lots of great stories to tell. We'll take a look at Skunk's amazing solo on My Old School from Countdown to Ecstasy. First, we'll take a look at his legendary and amazing solo from Rikki, Don't Lose That Number off Pretzel Logic, Skunk Baxter. So later in the video, we'll show you a version of that is slower. I know that goes by really, really fast. Also, a little later, we'll do an extreme close-up of this guitar. Now, Skunk Baxter played that solo, and he was one of the original members of Steely Dan when they were formed and tried to be a touring, self-contained band. There are some who say that the success of Rikki, Don't Lose That Number gave Becker and Fagan the confidence to stop touring altogether, disband the original lineup, become a duo, and simply start using their favorite studio musicians. I mean, in retrospect, it's easy to see that that was their dream anyway. They could cast any of this pool of astounding and world-renowned studio musicians on any of their songs, interchanging them one by one. Now, while Skunk Baxter was a member of Steely Dan, a band member, he was also a ringer and a studio musician in his own right. And when he left in 1974, he ended up in a bigger band, the Doobie Brothers. So let's take 30 seconds and talk about and break down this solo. Then we'll move to the extreme close-ups and a description of this really cool guitar, the CS-336. Then we'll break down Skunk's solos on My Old School, and then right after that, an appearance by Dean Parks, because Dean Parks played the acoustic and electric rhythm parts on Rikki, Don't Lose That Number live off the floor with the band. So the cool thing is they wrote a custom set of chords for the solo with a nice F major 7 and a G. E minor to E major. Now, the blues. Heavy vibrato. Little finger. Double stops. Chord tones. Double stop. Now my favorite. And then this. What a great ending. Now the solo continues, kind of having a conversation with the vocal. And then basically, that's so cool because it's the Hendrix chord. And I like playing it up here because it's a little thicker sounding. But they may have done it down here. And you can kind of see the chord shape really clearly down here. So leave it to Steely Dan to put a bluesy Hendrixy 5 chord in the middle of their top 10 pop song. So this is a 2022 Wildwood Spec CS-336. Has a book-matched carved maple top. The back and sides are actually one piece of wood that's been carved and hollowed out. It's mahogany, very different than the 335, which is separate pieces of maple ply. Finish color is green lemon fade. Finish type is nitrocellulose. Has a mahogany neck, rosewood fingerboard, wildwood custom buckers. The neck shape is slim taper. And really nice, the nickel hardware is just lightly aged. Now let's look at My Old School, another very famous Skunk Jeff Baxter solo. So the story is this. He was working at a place called Valley Sound, building and repairing guitars. He built a Stratocaster, curly maple. He routed it out. He put the electronics in, put the neck on, strung it up, took it to the studio, and then recorded this solo that night with the guitar he had just made. One of the cool things about this is, in a great measure, he's making rhythm guitar the star. He's making rhythm guitar the lead guitar. Okay, a couple of the great things about this one. Ghosting that E minor right there. He just touches it, and yet you still hear it. It's hard to do, actually. And then this really cool phrase. Next, he plays between the horn stabs, and you hear. But I'm thinking he might be playing. Which keeps a great pocket and allows you just to hear the notes that peek out between the horn stabs. That's actually kind of hard to do. And then he goes. So once again, it's turning rhythm into lead. And then I know what happens next. Between the horns, he goes. And then he gets this line again. And then there's this cool thing that happens at the very end. He does some chicken picking, and then he does this chromatic walk down. And you can barely hear it because it's right at the end of the fade out. Okay, here it is. If you want guitar lessons, click the link below and check out the 14-day free trial in the Masterclass. We're up to over 1,800 videos and 150 hours of lessons and content. Jeff Baxter, Skunk Baxter, has a new record out. It's called The Speed of Heat. He did it with a really brilliant collaborator, CJ Vanston. Check it out. Stream it on Spotify, wherever you find music. Lastly, Jeff actually changed history when he joined the Doobie Brothers, because at a certain point, they needed a lead singer. There was a vacuum. He filled that vacuum with Michael McDonald. He brought Michael McDonald into the Doobie Brothers because he had met Michael with Steely Dan. That changed history. All of those great hits by the Doobie Brothers and Michael McDonald might never have seen the light of day had Jeff not brought his friend into that band. Dean Parks played the acoustic guitar on Rikki, Don't Lose That Number. He played it live with the band. He also did some electric fills. You guys have probably seen the Vertex Effects video of him breaking down his parts on all the famous songs he's played on. Check it out if you haven't. We had Dean on our channel in a similar fashion a few years ago, and I had him play Change the World by Eric Clapton. It sounds really good. I want to show you this clip of it. And you've also seen Dean on the channel with me at the Grammys when I do those Grammy videos. That's me and him playing guitar. I've done sessions with Dean for decades, and he just gets better all the time. guys, a lot of the time YouTube will bring you my videos even though you're not subscribed. If you get the chance, click this subscribe button and ring the bell.